Today, we're going to take a magnifying glass to just one single, really cryptic verse in the book of Revelation. Now, the source material we're looking at suggests this isn't just some ancient poetry. Nope, it's a hidden blueprint for a major historical event. So, let's start decoding.
And here it is. This is the verse at the very heart of it all, Revelation 12:6. According to the interpretation we're exploring, this is way more than just symbolic language. It's meant to be a precise prophecy, locked into a very specific time and a very specific place. This is the puzzle we're here to solve today.
So let's treat this exactly like what it is, a prophetic puzzle. We're going to examine each clue that's hidden inside this one verse and then see what kind of historical picture starts to emerge when we put all the pieces back together. To crack this thing, we've got to decode the basic clues. You know, the classic questions. Who are we talking about? Where did this happen? And for how long? Believe it or not, the answers are all supposedly packed into this single sentence. So let the investigation begin. Okay, first up, and this is the big one. Who is the woman? Our source is pretty clear that she's not a literal person. So, what does she represent? And here's the interpretation we're looking at. The woman is a symbol for the entire early Christian church. You know, the community that had only been around for a few decades when this prophecy was written. So our who is that whole group of early believers. All right, so if the woman is the church, where on earth is this wilderness she fled to? The verse says it was a specific, prepared place, not just any old desert.
So the text suggests a very specific, historical spot was prepared for them, a safe haven. And the source points us to a real place you can find on a map, the city of Pella.
Now, get this. The name Pella itself is a massive clue. In Greek, it means rock, and in Hebrew, it means city of refuge. I mean, could you get a more perfect name for a safe haven? It totally reinforces this idea of a designated sanctuary. And listen, this isn't just some modern theory. The early church historian, a guy named Eusebius, he actually wrote about this exact event. He recorded that the Christians got a divine warning, an oracle, telling them to get out of Jerusalem and head for Pella right before the Romans laid siege to the city. So we've got the who and the where. Now we need the how long. The next part of the verse gives us a very, very specific timeline. And this is where the prophetic clock officially starts ticking. The verse specifies 1,203 score days. Now, 3 score is just an old-timey way of saying 60. So that comes out to exactly 1,260 days. In prophetic writing, you learn pretty quickly that numbers are rarely just random. They almost always carry some kind of meaning. And that number, 1,260 days, well, it's not just some arbitrary length of time. It converts perfectly to 3.5 years. So the key takeaway here is this very specific duration.
And this isn't a one-off number either. This exact time period, 3.5 years, pops up in other places in Scripture. Sometimes you'll see it in that cryptic phrasing, a time and times and half a time. It's like a recurring, significant prophetic clock. So if you've got this prophetic clock, you need something to actually start the countdown, right? You need a signal. So what was the historical event that set this 3.5-year timer in motion? Well, according to this source, the trigger was a specific and, frankly, a really puzzling military move back in 66 AD. A Roman general named Cestius Gallus had Jerusalem totally surrounded, which fulfilled a key sign for the believers. But then, for reasons that historians still debate to this day, he just suddenly retreated. That bizarre retreat created the absolute perfect window for the Christians to escape to Pella. And when we lay out all the pieces we've gathered, the blueprint becomes, well, remarkably clear. Just look at this timeline. In late 66 AD, Gallus pulls back, opening the door for the flight to Pella. Then, you fast forward to 70 AD, and another general, Titus, comes in and brings about the final, utter destruction of Jerusalem. And the time between that escape and the final destruction, you guessed it, almost exactly 3.5 years, the 1,260 days from the prophecy. So let's just step back and look at the completed puzzle. The major takeaway from this whole interpretation is that every single element of Revelation 12:6, the woman, the wilderness, that specific time frame, it all maps directly onto real events, real places, during the First Jewish-Roman War. The prophecy, when you look at it this way, isn't just a metaphor, it's a historical blueprint. It's pretty fascinating to see how a single cryptic verse can just unfold into such a detailed historical story, right?
This way of reading it transforms the text from some abstract idea into a concrete chronicle of what actually happened.
And all of this leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. How does it change things when a prophecy isn't just about predicting the future, but might actually be a key to unlocking the past? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us.